What's happening, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. KG is back with another video, back with another stream. Going to talk about things post the friendly versus Manchester United. Not too much detail, but some obvious things that are probably going to need to be said. Talk about Daniel Farke's comments as well after the game and my thoughts on those as well. As you come in, please hit the likes on the video, subscribe if you're not subscribed, and drop your comments after the video's done. Shout out to Karen Curtin, who donated a super thanks on the last video. Much appreciated. And new members of the channel, Jason C. and John Mermelstein. Thank you for joining the channel. All the financial support is so welcome and much appreciated. So thank you guys for supporting the channel. Link is in the description. Also, people, I've also reactivated my FPL league if you haven't seen it. So we're back on. Okay, we're back on. I've got my team ready already. It smells like a winner. So if you want to come in, get pounded, be my guest. So the link is in the description to join the FPO also as well. How is everyone doing, man? Well, how's everyone doing? Paul A, saying, I'm getting a bad feeling that we won't bring in signings listening to Farke after the game because of stupid relegation clauses. It's not even the relegation clauses, Paul. It's the fact that they're loans, but we'll get into that in just a bit. Let's have a look. And Ajaya, I hope that I've said that right. Ajaya, yeah. So brave by Dele. I hope he can get the support he needs. And yeah, I'm going to open with that. We're going to talk about Leeds and stuff in the second half of this. It's not going to be too much. But it's something that I've often said on here many times when I try and give more depth to a conversation rather than, oh, this player's crap, get him out of here. You know what I mean? I do say that, but I give valid reasons why. But I also try not to slander the character unless their character has said something that would make you believe there is something to slander. Now with Dele Alli, he's come out with an interview. Listen, I'll have to do the whole trigger warning thing for people that, you know, because I'm going to put some verbiage on the screen here. But he's come out with an interview with Gary Neville today, which has pretty much taken everyone by storm in terms of just the things that he revealed into it, why his recent struggles have been there. And he's had to do that pretty much because a journalist or someone close to him was going to break the news anyway. So he was kind of forced into it. But I think it's going to be a good thing overall for Dele. I really do. Let me just put this on the screen here. Here we are. Okay, so here we are. Dele Alli here. If you haven't seen it already, I've seen a few of you have seen the interview already, but I would suggest if you ever need to go and look at the human side of the football, of a footballer, then this is a perfect opportunity to do so. Just looking at some of the things here on the screen here, I won't read all of them, but you can read them yourselves. You know, just some things that if you don't resolve, it doesn't matter whether you earn 100,000 a week or £100 a week. If you don't resolve that, it's always going to be with you. And he's been getting help with his rehab. He's been getting help with his rehab. He's still doing that. I think Everton have said he's going to do no more interviews from now until he gets the help he seeks. But I think this was really good for Dele to do this. And let me just say why. Yeah, I mean, Jacob, that's what I'm saying. Sucks he was forced into it, but hopefully it benefits him in the long run. And it won't just benefit him, Jacob, it will benefit other players as well. Other players that have got addiction issues. This isn't as uncommon as it sounds in terms of addiction issues. Listen, we've seen with Ivan Toney with his gambling addiction. You know, he's been banned from the game. Even more recently, we've seen Harry Toffolo. I mean, he's got even more alleged offenses against him for gambling. There's so much of this, and Dele Alli's things was obviously he said they're sleeping pills. But the thing I'm trying to get at here is that when he was going through his whole thing, it was always the lazy narratives, wasn't it? It was the, oh, I think he earned too much too soon. I think if people knew how much some of these players earn in academies alone, they would be very surprised. These guys aren't earning the old wages of like £200 a week or something. Some of these guys are getting paid what you would consider first team wages. and not all of them make it at the top level. Not all of them make it. But in Dele Alli's case, he got all of that. He got the lazy trope. He got all of that. When you read and hear, you need to hear him talk about this stuff. You'll see that it's deeper than that. And no matter how much money he was to earn, it was never going to go away. If that was the case, you'd never hear of any high profile um, offing yourselves. I've got to be careful with the language here on YouTube, but you wouldn't hear of any high profile, very rich celebrities, offing themselves. You wouldn't. But money doesn't solve everything, and that's what I always try and say on here, even with players that I don't rate. I mean, I even did it yesterday for Patrick Bamford, who I absolutely want out of this club. But I gave the point from his side on that he's on a good wage here. This is probably going to be the biggest club he'll be at. Why would he move on? And I understand that point of view. But that for me is very surface level. For me, that should just be, common sense. But obviously not everything is common, is it? But that's what I'm saying. Even on players that I don't like, I'll always try and give the human side as well, and try and see it from their point of view. And we saw recently as well with Dele Alli, Jesse Lingard last year when he came out with his story. People thought Jesse Lingard was just swanning about and having fun on social media. That's literally 10 seconds, 15 seconds on a Snapchat. And then when he puts the phone down, he's probably miserable again. But people just think that he's just buzzing all day long, just doing that or doing a dance, when really it's just hiding certain stuff. Now, of course, I'm not gonna say every player that goes through bad form has got some kind of issue. We're not gonna do that, and we can always critique players when they deserve it. But it's always something just to go before you go slandering a character. Maybe just double take and just take a step back and think. Um, I mean, Damar here saying academies footballers' wage. A mate son plays for Man City and 7.5K a week. That's nothing, Damar. That's nothing. I mean, it is something. 100% is something. But in football terms of what I know, some academy players earn, that's very light. That is very, very light. But that's what I'm saying. A lot of these players earn a lot of money too soon. So that's why it really irked me with that lazy characteristic. But it also brought up about Crescencio Somerville for me as well recently, because he came out recently, didn't he, with his story, and I knew parts of that anyway. And that's why when there was a period where Crescencio was getting hammered, and people, of course, as always with certain players, go to the attitude problem. And I was always just say, I didn't say any details. I just said, don't be quick to go to that, because you don't know everyone's story. Not everyone moves from another country and can acclimatize straight away. It doesn't work like that for everyone. For me, it would be easy because I like going different places. For other people, they need people with them, and they don't realize that until they move. So, and that's why, and I'm glad that Crescencio Somerville's story came out. I think it was like last month, didn't it? About him struggling to settle in at Leeds and wanting to go back to Holland because it was a difficult period for him. But that happens, people. Not everybody is the same. And I just, I've had Bradley Johnson on here talk about certain things before. I always try and get that side out. And that's why I'm kind of glad with Dele Alli he's done this. And you got to think as well with this, it's been out since this morning. It's reached amazing numbers, and loads of people have commented on it. You've got to think that anybody who's having some issues may have either reached out for help or is considering it where they probably weren't before. And that's the benefit of talking about this, especially with someone like Dele Alli. So yeah, I mean, Andrew here saying drugs, alcoholism, and gambling are three lethal habits that ruin any play of any sport. It is true, Andrew. And listen, obviously, no details. I just hope that anybody who's heard this is going to get the help, because it doesn't know about how much you talk to somebody or you try and be there for them as much as you want. They have to want the help first. That is it. And you can only do so much for people. You really can. And until they want the help, there's nothing you can do. And it sucks for the person trying to help, because you feel like you could do more, but there isn't any more you can do. It's up to that person that wants to help. And thankfully, Dele Alli's done that. Everton are helping him out. They'll be, helping him through. And I just wanted to highlight that, because it's something that I always highlight on here. I always highlight mental health struggles. That's a real mental health struggle, not somebody who's texting teenagers and using the mental health card. And that's why it irks me when I hear the mental health card just being thrown out for any and every mistake people make. Really, really bugs me because there's real issues out there and they get watered down when people just throw it out there to cover up their well-known errors. But Dele Alli's got time on his side. He's obviously going to get a ton of support from loads of people, and I hope that he rejuvenates his career. I really do. I'm rooting for him, man. I'm really, really rooting for him. Um, listen, I don't know whether it's a coincidence, but Frank Lampard's done one today. I'll be honest, I'm not going to watch it. I saw the trailer for it, and it just seemed like typical Lampard stuff where there's just no self accountability. And you know me, guys, I can't stand that kind of stuff. Listen, if you watch it, good luck to you. I don't need any comments about it. Whatever. It just seems like it from the clips I saw, the Lampard one. It was, I knew there was problems going into these clubs, and even though that he could have done something different, there's just no accountability. He's been the same since he's been at Derby, isn't it? Same thing. It just seemed to me like the Lampard one is a, hey, I know I've failed in a few places, but these are the reasons why. Don't forget about me, please. I don't want to go to Saudi Arabia. I want to be back in the Prem, but I could be wrong. I could be wrong. Um, I mean, John, look, hey, listen, I won't mention the broadcaster's name again. You never know what could be censored on YouTube, man. But it's just very frustrating, very, very frustrating when people just throw it out there, because if anyone knows what it's like when you just don't want to get out of bed, or when it feels like you've got a blanket just suffocating your head, then you wouldn't just be quick to throw it out there just to as a get out clause for yourself. You wouldn't. But it's what people do, man. It's the easy way out. People don't like accountability, so they'll blame something else. They'll blame a condition. That's just the way of the world in 2023. Um, let's have a look. Yeah, me either. Me either. Andy here saying it often takes a huge change of environment and people around you to drag yourself out of the addiction problems. And when footballers live in that bubble, it's hard. True, Andy. They get surrounded by a lot of yes men, a lot of yes people. If they say, "Oh, shall we jump off this 3-story house?" The hanger-ongs will say, "Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. That sounds great." But they do. They need accountable people, and that's why. I mean, some of the players I know, the ones that speak to me, they know I'm good for it. They know that I won't say anything. I've said on here before, if I ever get information about little nuggets of football that no one else really cares about, it's because I've got permission to say it, or I've got the okay to say it. But they do. They need their family around them. They need good people around them, because as Jamie O'Hara once said as well, Jamie O'Hara, who's been through his struggles, he said once the money stopped coming in, once he retired, those people left him as well. And that can happen to you. And I'm sure that feels lonely as hell too. So that's it. I just wanted to highlight that and just put that out there and just give my thoughts on it, and big up Dele Alli. And if you are interested, go and watch it, and maybe it will maybe open your eyes a bit more, because I only say it because you obviously I get a lot of comments, I get a lot of messages, and it's always just straight up, get this guy out, this and that. And sometimes you just need to see the human side as well. And yeah, I mean, that is true, Katrina. He has suffered, but I don't want to get too deep into this. I don't want to get too deep into this, but why is it always bad things that have to happen when it's like that? Why hasn't he gone round? I'm sure he's got it. Why hasn't he gone round just giving random people £50? That's uncharacteristic behavior. Why hasn't he gone around just giving everyone random hugs or something like that? It's always something where it's a choice you've made, but you regret it as long as when you get caught. But listen, I don't want to talk too much, okay? If I say too much, one of them. But yeah. um yeah, so okay, let's move on to let's move on to our club, Leeds United. Oh joy. Did everyone watch the game yesterday? Did everyone watch the game yesterday? Listen, I saw the lineup, man. I saw the lineup and I said, you know what, man? Ah, I said, This is where we need to get to work on transfers, man. We need to get to work." And listen, somebody mentioned me in regards to Southampton making another signing in Shea Charles. I'll say this: I'm not bothered about the Shea Charles signing because he's another youngster from Manchester City. Yes, highly rated, but we also got one of those ourselves last season. So this isn't a case for me as of being jealous of Southampton in their signings or Leicester City, because none of their signings are making me go, "Wow, these are game changers." But what I am jealous of is that the fact is that they're getting their squad shaped, they're getting their squad molded into what they want it to be, and and that's the frustrating thing for us. We got no incomings coming in. And when Daniel Farke is talking about the loan system, and I think it's important we go on to this point now, in that the loan clause is about players leaving on loan, and it's not ideal because we're not bringing in the money. It's just freeing up wages. But I said to you guys before, I'd never heard of a relegation loan clause. I never heard of it before. I've heard about relegation release clauses in terms like the Rodrigo one for 3 million. I've heard of that many times. That's nothing new. I've heard of clubs loaning out players when they've gone down just to get them off the wages, and if they go back up, they'll probably take them back again. I've heard of that scenario. Never once in my life heard of a relegation loan clause, and we've got a bunch of them. We've got a bunch of them, and it's no surprise, is it? It's no surprise actually with the players that have moved out of who's got those clauses in. It's no shock to me. Robin Koch. And I think along the lines of what Farker was saying was that if Robin Koch didn't have a relegation release clause in to go out on loan, we could have possibly recuperated 5 million for him. It's not as much as we pay for him, but it's 5 million in the coffers, isn't it? It's 5 million in the bank. Um, Lee here saying, reading into Farker's comments, I think there is a problem with bringing people in before the deal is closed. I mean, there is that, but he also seemed. I'm sure he would have been told about the whole loan clauses, but it almost seemed like a surprise for him, like how many players are leaving on loan. But we're just not recuperating any money by Rodrigo. And it goes back to, I mean, Paul Gray here saying Auto with a red face. And you know me, I'm big on moving forward, but these deals are hamstringing us right now in the present. And it goes back to, but it also goes back to Radrizzani. It goes back to Radrizzani, not, and I hate to sound like Simon, what's his name? Simon Jordan now, but he didn't back the courage of his convictions. He didn't. He didn't do it multiple times, where Radrizzani's gut feeling was actually the right choices. He was actually correct in what he was thinking. Now, if he felt that he needed to get rid of Jesse Marsh when he wanted to, he should have done it, but he didn't do it, and it cost us further down the line. The Jack Harrison deal, much like Llorente now, who's gone out on loan yet again, we re-signed Jack Harrison to 5 more years. But why? I maintained at the time, I don't care. We should have sold him for that amount of money with 18 months left, 25 to 30 million, whatever it was from Leicester. Should have taken it. We was in no better condition keeping Jack Harrison. He had 4 good games with that contract. 4, literally 4 good games with that contract. He is what he is, and he should have backed himself but he didn't. He didn't do that, and we're paying the price for it. I don't know why. I think it's quite telling as well, the kind of players that have got the relegation loan clauses in there. I think it's quite obvious why they would have had them, because they probably knew that they wouldn't get bought out with a relegation release clause. But there's players now that we've got that definitely don't have them. I would say that Tyler Adams is a permanent. I would say maybe Somerville would be a permanent too. Nanto doesn't have one, which is why they are still here and still around the place, I believe. Because look how quickly everyone else has disappeared. Look how quickly everyone has disappeared in comparison to Leicester and Southampton, who are still putting on hefty price tags on their key players. Harvey Barnes isn't going for any less than 35 million. Lavia for Southampton is not going for any less than 50, apparently. James Ward-Prowse the same. They've got tags on theirs because they can, whereas we've got some clauses in there that is hurting the club right now. I wouldn't say hurting though, because I'm glad to see a lot of them go. But you know what I mean here. You saw with this team. I mean, just going by this team, that's why I've got it on the screen. There's so much work to do, people. And it's funny. I mean, listen, Nate, who's a member of my channel, and shout out to Nate. He seems to think that we've got a good nucleus to go up, and I just don't see it. And going by the evidence yesterday, yes, it's a friendly. And even if Jorginho scored a hat trick yesterday, I don't pay too much mind to that because it is a friendly and it is about fitness. But you could see there's some players here that still need to go. I mean, Shackleton, sorry, bro, you're not it. You're not it. Greenwood, you can't be in that starting lineup. At least not in the starting lineup. Pervader, no. Sorry. Sinistera. Ah, Nate is here. There he is. Nate. This is Nate, who I'm talking about. I'm perfectly fine with the current players that have been loaned out in my opinion. Yes, I am too, Nate. I'm 100% with that as well. But there's still glaring weaknesses in this team. And you saw yesterday as well. By the way, Dan James, he did the thing, didn't he? He did his thing. He did his thing where he used his speed and got to the final bit. And yeah, he didn't look up. He just put the ball across in hope. But you'd hope that when we get a number 9, that will change. But also as well, you also have to take into account that's Manchester United. Doesn't matter what variation of a lineup they had, they still had some first teamers out there, and it's going to be different for him doing that against Man United than versus Ipswich. You know, he's probably going to get 3-4 opportunities against Man United at best. Against Ipswich, he could probably get 8-9. That's the way it is in the Championship. But yeah, so Dan James, he's still doing that thing of getting past this player, and then the final thing is just not there. Yeah, he's gonna let me down. I know he is, isn't it? um, Michael saying, yeah, I'm getting quite worried, KG. We need to sign in. We need signings to happen quickly. Yeah. And Andy here, they overpay for players and now letting them go for pretty much nothing. All the financial benefits of getting promoted to the Prem are being washed away. It puts us at a disadvantage. Yep, 100%, Andy. We knew we overpaid for some of these players, though. We knew it. We knew that we overpaid. Some of them we haven't. Obviously, Nanto is the exception to that rule. But some of these players were never worth the amounts we paid. It's just bad negotiating. We seem to overpay for everyone while we don't get any money back for any of our players, or barely any money back for our players. It's just poor negotiating. But this is nothing new. This has been going on at Leeds for near 15 years. But you would have thought it would have improved once we got to the Prem, and it didn't improve. I mean, look, some of these names here, uh, God, wow. Oh man, look, you know what? I don't want to say too much because if I say too much, people just think it's running agenda. But you saw the evidence yesterday with some players that should just not be here anymore. You just saw it. You know, Drama yesterday. I thought he held his own. Switched to left back as well. Um, Yelda, yeah, okay, but it still shows the need for an out and out left back for me. Sinistera, by the way, if I do hope we get to keep Sinistera. Somebody said about Sinistera's availability, and it is a good point. If he's not available most of the time, what's the point? But I maintain if you get 20 to 25 games out of Sinistera, he will get you enough returns in those games to make it matter, to make it actually matter that he's maybe out for a few games here and there. I think he's that good, and I think he would absolutely light up this league. It's going to be tough to keep hold of him, though. Damar saying, "No, okay, just speak your mind, brother. If the hate is your channel, speak your mind." Yeah, no. I'm aware. I know that, Damar, but just sometimes as well, even I can hear it. Even I can hear him like, if I mention these guys again, it sounds a bit agendaish, but I just know what I need for this football club, and some of these guys are just not it. I mean, the second half when the senior pros came on, Lord have mercy. Bad days. Ah, when I tell you that these guys look, I mean, when you look at JB yesterday looked good. Archie Gray looked like he's going to be, something. But the agility and ability that these guys have compared to some of the older guys, they look like they've aged in 3 months, and they were slow enough against Tottenham at the end of the season. Couldn't believe it. But yo, listen. Um, Paul Ainey saying the lineup doesn't fill me with confidence. Yeah, I don't think this would be our starting lineup in the championship. I think it was just a case of who's available now and where people are in their fitness now in preseason. But no, man, this team is not going up without quality additions to it. I just don't see it. Who's scoring the goals, people? I asked it yesterday. Please tell me who is scoring the goals. I think we've got capable players that will help get us goals here and there, but we need an actual killer up front, and we don't have one. Rodrigo's off, and I mean he wasn't even a killer, but he was the best that we could hope for. He's gone. Perkins, Gelhart, Joseph, I get it. There's a lot of potential there, but they need somebody solid to work around. Um, Liam B here with the Dan James. Yep, needs to look up before he crosses instead of crossing blindly. 100% Liam. He has to do that. I thought when I saw him like speed through one time, I thought, yes, there you go. And then he just put it across without looking at one time. I was like, oh, damn. You're not helping me beat these allegations for you, man. I'm trying, but you're not helping me out here. But yeah, he's got to improve that. But the thing is that you get in the championship that you don't get in the Premier League is that you get more chances to do so. You get way more chances, and you got, with all due respect to the defenders, they're not as intelligent as Premier League defenders. So when he's about to speed past somebody is going to bring him down. He will draw fouls, he will draw free kicks, possibly penalties too. That's going to be his strength. I'm afraid that is his strength. That is literally his strength. It's not going to be 15 assists. It's not going to be 10 goals. It's going to be causing mayhem, and he can do that in this league. And KG, you nearly had me, with Dan James, but then I saw him play yesterday and remembered he's awful. I want to maintain. I'm not back. I wouldn't put my house on him. I'm just saying I think he'll be a decent option in this league. Um, let's have a look. What's everyone saying? Yeah, I mean T85, Dan James is Huckabee light. Mm, I'd say Huckabee had a better finish, probably for Coventry more than us, but yeah. Diggler saying Ailing should ever be played as a defender. He simply can't do it. But if we keep him, he could be brought on as an impact player, attacking down the right because he's good at that. Yeah, yeah. If you like Diggler, Nabino. Oh man, this is the one I was going to get to. Nabino. Oh Lord. Mm. The fall from grace for Pascal is continuing to happen. I cannot believe where this guy is right now. He looks just so immobile, and he still looks unsure on the pitch. I had high Pascal stocks. I had the highest Pascal stocks. I thought he was going to be going to one of the bigger teams for say 20 million, 30 million. I thought he was going to progress in that kind of ilk. I didn't think he was going to be the most dominant defender, but I thought he had it about him. If you've seen him in real life, even if you see him on the pitch, you'll see he's a big guy. He had a brilliant pass on him when he first broke into the team. He was a brilliant ball playing defender when he first broke in. But now, oh boy, Pascal, I don't know where he goes from here, people. He probably stays here because I don't know who else is going to take him. It's sad though, man, to see him like that because there's so much potential there, but he's regressed. He's regressed so badly, so badly, man, and it's sad to see. Nate here saying, "So sad you've been right about Struijk." Yeah, man. Darren here, Pascal had no confidence. He kept passing the ball to the younger centre back, yeah, Mullen. I just don't know where he goes from here, people. We can't keep talking about him being played out of position, low confidence. We got too many of these players here that need to move. I just don't know where he goes from here, people. Um, Lee Marshall saying Pascal's confidence looks shot. Yeah, we're in a new season though. We're in a new season. This should be a fresh start. We're in a lower league, so he should be looking at this opportunity to say, "I'm going to show everyone I can rebuild myself at this level, and then when we go back up, I'll show everyone I can actually do it." Because he's still a pretty young guy in terms of defenders, isn't he? He's very young, but man, it's not looking good for him, man. Ah, man, oh damn. You know what, man? Liam B here saying Pascal needs to be loaned out, another loan to get his confidence back. I do. I said it on my buy, sell, keep thing video. I think that this is just one of these now where he needs to move and have a fresh start. I do. I don't think it's going to happen for him here at Leeds United. And plus, I don't see him getting past Verba. I don't see him getting past Yelder at this point. Certainly not past Charlie Creswell. And listen, Liam Cooper yesterday, I give him credit, man. He played okay. He needs to quit with the passing, though, man. He just keep it simple. I know I've hammered him before for constantly passing it back to Melier, but maybe that's where he should stay instead of trying to pass out from the back. That's not his game. But he's fallen so far behind, so far behind. I'm very disappointed. I gotta say, very disappointed. I mean, Nate here saying Struijk still has mad potential. He just needs to get a run of 10 games with with a consistent manager. He's had that, Nate. He's had it many times. He's had many times where he's had runs of games, and those run of games that he had under Jesse Marsh, by the way, he was good for a mistake in each of them. He was terrible. I mean, remember when he had the captain's armband against Cardiff? Oh God. Listen, I'll be honest. I'll be honest. This is one of my guys who I thought was going to go to the top. He ain't going anywhere at this point. Really, really, truly. But yeah, that was a worry. Jorginho looked lively yesterday. You know, wasn't outstanding, but he looked lively, and he looked like if you could transfer some of that into the championship, he's going to have a good year. Still needs a striker with him, and this is where I go back to who is scoring our goals. That's why, you know, Daniel Farke, I know he looks frustrated. He looked annoyed to me in terms of how things are going on the transfers. We need to get people in soon, man. Like today, we're on the 13th of July, people, and we haven't got one first team incoming. It's bad. It's so bad. Um, Karen here saying, Farker saying about getting players fit. That's worrying. They should be fit. They are professional footballers. Yeah, there's just a difference. So when they've had a bit of time off to coming back to preseason, because obviously they will do little bits and pieces as we see on their social medias, but it's not as the same as intense football training. So I think that's probably what he meant. But you even saw, didn't we, Karen and everyone else, their fitness had gone down the pan in pretty much the second half of last season. Not even just Mark Rucker, loads of them were blowing by the 60th minute. You know, that definitely has to improve. John, it's sad. So sad. It's a sad, sad situation. And it's getting more and more absurd. Yeah, you're right. Liam V saying, great stream, KG, Leeds forever, march on together. Yeah, listen, the club's still going to be here, but I don't want to do this championship. I don't want to do this. I really don't. So, but I'm going to ask now, at this stage where we are now, does anyone think that we're going to get top two? Nate, I know you're going to say yes, but if you want to put it in, do it. Um, but yeah, if is there a top two? Does anyone think that? I mean, Ninja Dan, but they were overtrained. Dan, you can be overtrained. You literally can be overtrained. I mean, you people just go from one extreme to the other. I mean, there is a middle ground with that, and even they needed a break, and they weren't going to get it under that manager. Nate is he's standing on it, man. I can respect it, Nate. We win the league. Fair play, man. Fair play. Paul saying no chance for top two. Another Paul says no chance. Dan is saying, oh, sorry, Dan, it's gone up. Let me see. No, we scrape playoffs currently. Okay, yeah. Damar saying winning the league, no way. Ali saying nope, top six at a push. Can we do playoffs though, people? I mean, we've seen how this has gone over the years. Jake, no. Andy here saying we'll be lucky with top 10 with no incomings. I'm kind of with you there, Andy. Really and truly with you there. Yeah, I gotta sing a little. Let me sing. Let me sing. Actually, YouTube might cancel me. Um, Indian Joe saying 14th to 16th. God, yeah. And you know what, John? This is true as well. Some of this squad can't be trained. That's why some of them have to go. Some of them have to go because they've had their time. And we saw, you know, we talk about PR in terms of what we've seen today with Dele and Frank Lampard. It happened again with Luke Ayling. That's all he has to do, and then everyone's like, "I'll stay forever." We could literally get relegated to the Vanarama League, and people will want him to stay it forever. It's insane. Standards are on the floor here. It's a nice gesture. I'm not saying that. Don't come at me for that. But people know what they're doing, man. They know when the camera's around. But anyway, Leeds on top saying, "Will." Oh gosh. we'll go up next year. Too disorganized at the moment. There's just so much to organize, and that's why I can't see a top two finish. The only things that give me hope, a little bit of hope, is that Sheffield United were all over the place last season. They were, you know, ownership issues and everything else like that. They still managed to make a charge and go up. But we know it's different at this club, and players at this club will look for any excuse to not perform. They'll look for any excuse not to perform and then say, "Ah, off the field issues have caused it. Ownership issues cause it." We've seen it. We've seen that script many times when we was in the championship before. A lot of these players don't need any more excuses. We've given them enough. And that was another thing. Daniel Farke also said about we need the fans to be with the team. And with all due respect to Daniel Farke, the fans have been more than generous to this group of players over the Premier League years. More than generous. It literally took the fan base to on Bielsa's last game to finally accept the shellackings we were getting. It was literally the Spurs game where the home crowd finally booed them instead of clapped them off the pitch. The fan support is not the issue. It's the players that now need to give the fans something to cheer. I know Danny Fark is just giving out those kind of lines, but listen, the fans have done their part for this club over the past few years, both income, both support wise. Bamford can miss 10 chances. He'll still get his name sung in the ground. Come on, we're doing our bit. Time for the club to do theirs. Um, yeah, Paul. I mean, yeah, fans are always with the team, getting them 7-0 at Man City, singing "We All Love Leeds" for 20 minutes. Exactly, 100%. Um, but yeah, I mean, Paul, starting to sound depressing. It's just as I've said yesterday, Paul, and I maintain when you're in the Premier League, there's different things that you can shoot for. There's different things you can hope for. When you're in the Championship, it's promotion or bust for me. There's no, oh, we had a good season and finished seventh. No, that's a poor season, especially for a freshly relegated team. We have to make use of the resources we've got now. Otherwise, we're going to be in trouble. As in, not like relegation, but we're going to be in trouble of staying in this league for another amount of time again. And nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. No matter how you support Leeds United, whether you want like certain players or don't like certain players, at the core, everybody wants what's best for Leeds United, and that is to get promoted again. It's not to be in this league. FFP is different here, and they definitely slap the FFP on in this league. You always hear it every month. Different club. Oh, they've got a deduction out of nowhere. Like, oh damn, they got a transfer embargo. Oh, that's another thing. Sheffield United had a transfer embargo in the second half of last season. But other teams, other clubs can do things in adversity. Not here. Not here. Maybe is that gypsy curse, right, Gary? Shout out to Gary Hillman. Um, yeah. Sam here saying the same people saying it was negative to say we're getting relegated are the same people saying everything will be fine in the championship. Yeah, I don't understand. I don't understand it. It was pretty obvious. There was always a little bit of hope with the relegation. I think there's until you get that R next to your name, you always just think, what if? But the time I actually accepted it was probably after West Ham when they turned up half drunk after getting through the semi-final. They had their family and everything around with them. They didn't care in that game, and they still hammered us in that game. And that's when I said, you know what, we're done. We're absolutely done. And then once I saw that team sheet versus Spurs, I said, yeah, they just want us to go down now, don't they? But this is it, Sam. I don't know where. I mean, Nate is saying we're going to win the league, and shout out to him. I hope he's right. I hope Nate is right, and I hope more people like him are correct. And we don't need that much. But I'm just saying, from this lineup that we got on screen here, there are holes in that goalkeeper, no striker, no goal scoring midfielder. There's problems in the team, people. Um, and yeah, Andy feels the same as well. Being the West Ham was the final nail in the coffin. Yeah, it's just that if we weren't going to beat them at that point when they were literally half drunk, then we weren't doing anything, were we? So, um, yeah, let's have a look. Yeah, get my Paul saying Perot looking like a distant dream. And shout out to somebody who messaged me saying, no, we wanted Perot, not Piri, the youngster that we're getting from Scotland. Never even thought of that. But yeah, I think that Piri is going to be done pretty much soon. But yeah, Perot. everything seems like a distant dream at the minute. A free transfer of Ryan Manning was a distant dream, but I don't know if we was even in for him. And I think that the pull of his old manager from Swansea being there was going to probably be a big factor as well. We just, yeah, we just need to get things sorted and soon. That's all I'll say. And yeah, you can't have blatant problems in the team and everything be okay. Yeah, but the clock's ticking, people. The clock is ticking. So hopefully on the next video we got something to celebrate. We need something, don't we? We need something to celebrate. You know, we need some hope. I think hope is just something that we could cling on to. But yeah, Nate, yeah, Nate is a he does say this. He has high hopes as long as Cine, Rutter, Adams, and Nanto are here. And as I replied to Nate yesterday, the only problem with Nate's list here is that let's see, one, two, three of those names are possible departures. I would love if we get to the end of the transfer window and all those guys are still here. I would probably be with Nate. But the problem is these rumors of some of these players going away, leaving aren't going away. And so I understand that. But we'll see, people. We'll see. Um, yeah, Jacob, need a Ruben Neves to Wolves level transfer to get us excited. It's possible, isn't it? You know, you've just seen Southampton spend 15 million on a player. We've definitely got that, you know, and that's another thing I wanted just to clarify. I know some people kind of took Daniel Farke's comments as that we were broke because we're not recouping any money. We're not broke. It's just that we're not getting the money that we should for these outgoings. So I just wanted to say that that's what I'm taking it as. But listen, people, I'm going to end it there. This hasn't been a very positive stream, I know, but this is where we are. It's realistic. It's where we are right now. Until we get some incoming bodies, we're going to be in this state of flux for me. And that lineup, as we see on the screen, kind of tells the story of that. So, people, please hit the like, hit the likes on the video. Best way to support the channel. Drop your super thanks on the comments as well if you can. It's much appreciated. And subscribe to the channel. FPL is live again. So if you haven't joined the league or it's already re-rolled, so there's already a load of teams in there. But if you've joined FPL this season and you want to join another league, come and join mine and I will teach you how to play. You know, one of them. But listen, people. Oh, no, no, no. We're not going just yet. Sam. Ugh. Sam. Sam, you have literally just said about not having problems. Yeah. Mopay, 15 million, scored 25 in the championship last time. He also had Ollie Watkins and Embuemo. He had players around him that were supplying him. He was good in the championship last time, but I just don't know if we're going to spend 15 million. Not Neil Mopay, not for me, not for me, people. Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. You know what I would go for, Sam, if you were talking about that kind of figure, because I was looking on FPL yesterday when I was doing my team. There are so many players that are due to move to the championship. There's so many players that aren't quite Premier League players, and they should be in the champ. But let's just say Danny Ings isn't wanted at West Ham, and we spent some money on him at this point. I would do that, Danny Ings. You know, you're talking about someone that knows where the goal is. You know, we don't need him to do all the chasing and all that stuff. Just put the ball in the net. Yeah, I mean, Ryan, I'm saying Embuemo, but the point I'm trying to make is Brentford, whenever they've had a player go out, they've replaced them. They've replaced them. It probably wasn't Embuemo there, it was probably someone else. It was Ben Rama, probably. That's what I'm saying. He had actual ballers around him, and we're not sure if we're going to keep ours. But yeah, I mean, Nate, yeah, Danny Ings has made a crackers, but yes, he would be a baller, and that's what I'm saying. But he goes along that line for me, like Sinistera in this league. Let me make that clear. Where if you're getting Danny Ings for 25 games, he's going to get you enough goals. I think that will get you enough points. But yeah, for me, Mopay, not for me. But listen, if you're in the comments and you like Mopay, unite with Sam there, all right? But yeah, yes, Ben Rama is who I meant. Yeah, but you see that recruitment at Brentford, top tier, in it, top tier. But yeah, I hear that too. Coffee is soup. Ings already got one broken striker. I trust his skill, not his ankles. I hear that too. I was just putting out a name that I would prefer over Mope, And if it was Danny Ings, I could understand it. I really could. But nah, not for me. Neil Maupay has been a scrub for the last couple of years. Not for me. But again, I don't marry Ings to my name. I don't want that. And Evie here saying no, not Ings. Another signal. I hear it. I hear it. But listen, people, I am gonna end it here now. Peace out, people. Enjoy the rest of your day, night, afternoon, wherever you are in the world. And I'll see you in a bit. So I merely asked the question. Tremendous. Peace out.